Time to mortal up.
What a wild time it is to be alive, and it most certainly is a wild time. I love it. People go, oh, well, with all the craziness going on in the world today. Yeah, but crazy doesn't mean it can't be just great, exhilarating, exciting. It causes you to, right? For you to test your skill level, I love times like this. And the picture, I should tell you, and we'll come back to it a little bit later, when we get a chance to talk with Wayne, seeing what's going on in the world today. When we took that picture, I had been, I'll tell you a little bit of story about that picture. I had been in the, let's call them riverways of South Florida, and I had been with a good friend of mine. We were busy working on kayaking in and among alligators, all kinds of reptiles, all kinds of birds, all kinds of really cool things to shoot. And we had been, we had been on the water probably, let's say 8 hours. Good. We were up bright and early, and all day long we're snapping pictures of gators. We've got cameras, not only cameras shooting forward so that we could get the shot. We had cameras on the front of the kayak shooting back at us, recording video cameras so that we could see. Dana, nice to see you. Thanks so much for stopping by. Dana, we're hoping you're going to have a segment here before too long. Wayne tells me you guys are working out what it's going to take for you to be able to come on and do a segment, maybe even once a week. I would love that. So get some of your perspective as well. So any event, Dana, we were talking about this trip. Mike Morrow, a world-renowned photographer, videographer, and I think 2 or 3 other guys. So we had been on the water all day long. And we said, you know what, let's go ahead. And we knew it was going to take us about a half hour, maybe an hour to get back to where the boat launch was, right? Where they put us in. So we're like, all right, let's turn around. And I had been kayaking for quite some time. So of the group, I was considered, I guess you could say, I was considered the most experienced, right? So throughout the day, I was making fun. I was going, hey, Captain Nemo, what's going on over there? Be careful. Don't tip over. Don't do that, right? So I'm just making fun. Having a good time, getting all kinds of great footage. Again, from the front of the boat and also looking backwards. And it gets to be a little bit late in the day. And as I started back, the sun was just setting. The river was heading towards the west. The sun was just setting on the water. And I'm paddling away. I got my gear going. Click, 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 click. And I didn't see right under the water. All you could see in the water was the sun reflecting. It was just beautiful. The mangroves, it was just gorgeous. Daniel, thank you so very much. It is absolutely great to be back live. So thank you for joining us. I super appreciate it. Right, Dana Lee, Captain Nemo. I was making fun. I was busy doing, all that kind of fun stuff. So what happens is I start back, and in this direct sunlight, all you can see it is kind of sparkling on the way. I couldn't see a whole lot more than that. So I'm paddling away, I'm watching the camera, I'm doing all these other things. And all of this sudden, and I still to this day, I've never seen it. We just kind of surmised what had happened. There was a root, a tree underwater, and I hit it head on. Never saw it. All I saw was the sun reflecting off the water. Hit it head on. Head on. And when you look at the film, because remember, there was a camera on me looking back. When you look at the film, you see very quickly that the earth looks like it's starting to tilt, right? Like all of a sudden the camera's facing me and there's just the slightest little tilt. When I hit this log, this tree, this gate, whatever it was mammoth. I didn't see it. When I hit it, and the boat started to go. What I didn't calculate for, and the kayak, it was on its way, right? Gave me an idea of how they felt in the Titanic. When the kayak started to go, I was like, I'll just tweak my hips the other way and it'll bring it back. But the camera at the front of the kayak was on a tripod. So my center of gravity was gone, right? My center of gravity was like up here. So the boat starts to go, and there was nothing I could do. Nothing I could do to save it. But it happened so fast that you actually see the camera go, go, go. Now half in the water, half in gurgle. Here's Brian now underwater. So my first thought is, what do I got to do to get right? So I try to turn the kayak back. As you know, there's a maneuver. You tap on the top, let everyone know you're down. Tap on top, trying to right it up. But the camera and the tripod, which was secured to the kayak, the camera and the tripod was holding me under. So I had to wet evac is what it's called. I had to escape. I had to take off my skirt, pop out. I righted the boat, and now there's, I don't know, what's a Nikon? $5,000 for a camera, probably $10,000 for a 300 millimeter lens. In less than a second, 15 grand worth of camera gear gone. Now, thankfully, I'd put a couple of the other cameras, I had put some of the other lenses in wet bags, dry bags, I guess would be a better word for me. Keep your stuff dry. And the people that were with me, one of the other guys screamed, "Get out of the water, get out of the water. There's a gator that just went in." And I remember thinking to myself, forget the gator, screw the gator. I got a lens, I got another $10,000 lens floating down the river, right? And so I'm cold. The water is just, I know you think it's South Florida. How cold can the water be? Water's a little chilly. So I get up, I reach for it, I grab the bag, and I beeline towards the shore. And they're screaming, "Get out of the water, get out of the water." And I remember looking back, I had righted the kayak, and my camera, I lifted up my camera, water just fell out. And if I think I saw Brian pop up here earlier. One of the things I love about Brian's icon, or what is it, avatar, is he's got a picture with a camera in it. So he'll appreciate this. Just gone. My camera, later, Brian, good evening as well. Nice to see you, brother. Heather, thank you so much for joining us. Also, Candace, thanks for stopping by. Super appreciate it. So what happened was that camera became a door weight. For the next couple of years, I used it to remind me that just when you think you've got everything going on, just when you think everything is perfect, you never can tell when a limb is going to catch you, or a gator, or a tree, or whatever. But I want to get back to the picture. So the picture we used today in, these are some wild times to be alive. The picture is the very next morning. Now, we got back to the boat launch. Everyone's now laughing at me because they're like, well, who's Captain Nemo now, right? It's absolutely my bad. And they're all petrified because they're just like, man, if his kayak can tip, what's going to keep ours from tipping? So they're just like, right, they're doing anything they can to get back to the water. I get in, Ashley's there with the truck, and I'm just dumping camera gear on the shore. And I know, I'm thinking to myself, oh, if I get in and I turn the heater on and I put the camera right out, right? You think the best, and you go, oh, yeah, well, that's what I'll do. I'll put the dehumidifier on the camera. I'll pack it in rice. I'll do whatever else. It was gone. Absolutely gone. No way to recover it. No way to recover the lens. Like I said, 15 grand out the door like that. So I decided after I get in, and everyone goes, "Oh, Bri, tough luck. That was a bad tip, wasn't it?" And I go, "Well, do you think we can get the footage from the one video camera? Because I'd love to see it go sideways right before we went in the water. And I'd love to see me start taking in water, gargling in the water as the boat goes." So I'm kind of kicking around. I'm ticked off. I pull in my kayak. I'm helping everybody else out with their gear. And Ashley's like, "Baby, I'm so sorry." I go, "Yeah, well, what are you going to do? Let's get in and get out of here, get something to eat." So the very next morning, and it's a part of my mental illness, I suspect. Maybe you're like this, if anyone looks at it the way I do. I wanted to get back on the horse. I wanted to get back into the race. I wanted to get back into the brawl. I wanted to do whatever I could to make certain that the very last thing I saw in my mind wasn't the failure of tipping the boat. Brian says, "Oh man, that's terrible insurance." Let me tell you about the insurance. Then I'll get back to the morning picture. So, Bri, I called the insurance company, and the insurance company says, well, I'm sorry, that's not covered. Well, why wasn't it covered? Well, because if you had, it's a lot like, you ever have your insurance guy, you ever hit a deer? Or you swerved, you missed the deer, you hit a tree, and your insurance person says, oh, whoa, tell me what happened. And, well, I did this, and I swerved, and they go, oh, you swerved? Yeah, I swerved. I didn't want to hit the deer. I didn't want the antlers coming through the windshield. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sure. Well, I'm with you. But you swerved? Yes, I swerved. Oh, well, then you're not covered because you didn't actually hit the deer. You swerved, and of your own volition, you hit a tree. So you ready for this, Bri? Everybody else listening? My insurance company wouldn't cover any of the money that I was out. Do you know why? Well, one, because I'm Irish. Like I say all the time, Irish luck, don't believe the hype. Why they wouldn't cover it is because it wasn't a clean tip. I made the mistake of being honest and said, well, I tried. As I started to think the boat was going one way, I tried to tip, and that's what, and then that threw me in the water. Oh, so you tried to write it? Yes, I tried to write it. Oh, so it wasn't actually the log that dumped you in the drink, made you gator bait, right? It was the fact that you tried to correct it right before you hit. Yes, I tried to correct it right before I hit. So they disallowed all the insurance, Bri. Didn't get anything, not a single penny, but a great lesson. And as you will see, a great picture. So the next morning I get back and I go to the very boat launch. Ashley and everybody else is like, what are you doing? And I go, I got to go. I hopped in the car. I grabbed another 600 millimeter lens, another camera. So I grabbed, again, 16 grand probably at the time worth of gear. I head out and I go, I'll be damned if I'm going to leave on a sour note. There's just no way I'm going to leave that scenario where the picture that plays in my mind is of a catastrophic failure on my part. Just a seismic failure in terms of money and pride and all the rest of it. So I decided I'm going to get back up next morning. Everyone else can sleep in, go to McDonald's for a breakfast sandwich, whatever they want, right? They can do whatever they want. I decided to go back to that boat launch. So I'm sitting at the edge of the water, and I've learned in that part, never dangle your feet in the water, never put your feet in the water, this and that. I'm sitting there at the edge of the water. I got my lens, I got my camera, and I go, Bri, you got to get back in this kayak, and you got to do it right this time. You can't leave on a fail. And sure enough, as I sat there getting ready to push in, here comes the gator, which you saw in this picture. Wayne, if you can go ahead and throw it back up again. Wild time to be alive. I'm sitting on the shore, not 25 feet from this gator. And I remember rolling out of the dry land now, before I edged the kayak in, rolling out, dropping the camera onto like a bean bag to stabilize it. And this thing's snout is level in the water with me, 25 feet away, and I have the 600 millimeter lens pointing out towards this thing, and was able to catch in the early morning his eyes and his reflection looking at me. And I've always wanted to think, thank you, Wayne, very much. I've always wanted to think that could have been the gator. It was a little too far away, but it showed me that in terms of doing something I was just embarrassed about, but I needed to get back up on the horse. And maybe something like that has happened to you, where you go, hey, you know what? That was a total screw up on my part. But you can't afford having that be the very last picture. Like if anyone golfs, I was talking to my friend Greg this morning about, they shot a 78. Greg, if you're listening, congratulations. Shot a 78 yesterday. And he said, oh yeah. And I go, 78, how'd it go? And he goes, it went really well. And he goes, I had one bad hole. And I go, you 3-putt, didn't you? And he goes, how did you know? And I go, well, a bad hole usually means it's a 3-putt. And he goes, yeah, we got there early in the morning. And I go, gee, you got there early in the morning. They had just cut the grass. You knew it was going to be faster. How did you go up to the cup, past it, and then hit it back too far again? And we were laughing about it and this and that. And go, yeah, you know, those fairways in the morning, they cut them pretty close. You got to be ready. But the key to that whole story was that you get back up. You never end on a miss. You never end on a foul. You never end where that's the thing that your mind focuses on. Like, my family laughs at me all the time, but like, I'll be at a restaurant and I'll ball up newspaper, I'll ball up a napkin, and I'm no basketball player, for goodness sakes, but I'll ball up a napkin and I'll throw it across the dining room in the direction of any garbage can. And more times than not, I actually hit. I hit the garbage can. And people around me are like, how did you do that? And I go, I never leave on a miss. Now, the flip side of that, before we get to Wayne and hear about everything that's going on in the world today, the flip side of that is there are plenty of times that I miss. If it takes me 11, 12, 13 tries, the kids will be going to the, Ashley's like beeping the horn, driving away. And whoever I'm with, they're gone. They're leaving me. I will sit or stand or knee, whatever position I was in when I missed, I will sit there until I nail it. Not because I'm perfecting any superhuman kind of, oh, wow, I'm working on my layup, my jump shot, whatever the hell they're called. I'm working on that. No. It's none of that. It's simply because I don't want to walk away, fall asleep later that day with the concept of a miss etched into my mind. I want to leave every time having hit it. And that's the only reason. And I know it's nuts, but if you've been following me, you know I'm crazy, right? As I say all the time, you can't spell idiot without the I in Brian. So for me, the reason I went back that morning and the reason I got the picture of a lifetime, people wait all kinds of time to be able to get a gator and the reflection of his own eyes and his snout staring you down. I got the picture of a lifetime because I wanted to get back up on the horse, so to speak. So my suggestion to you before we open it up, my suggestion to you is in those times where you think you've failed. And that's why when people ask, well, how many times have you failed before? I've never failed. I've never, ever failed. Now, before everyone thinks, well, that's the most arrogant, narcissistic. Again, if you know me, well, there you go. That's the most arrogant, narcissistic thing I've ever heard. In my defense, I would say to you that I've never failed because I never stop. I never stopped trying. Did I succeed at what I had attempted in that particular moment? No. There's plenty of times I don't succeed in that moment. But I don't stop until I nail it. I don't give up until I get the desired result. And if it takes me 20 minutes of try. What does Yoda say in Star Wars? Do or do not. There is no try. So for me, the thought about never failing isn't that I have always been successful, because I haven't been. But I've always made sure that as soon as I could, I went back at it again for that very reason. So if there's any little helpful tip that I can give you from that picture, it all stems from the fact that I refused to be afraid. I refused to leave the scenario with having failed, and as major league a failure as it was, and it cost me dearly. I'm not made of money, 15 grand like that. Not to mention the fact that the other guy from National Geographic and everyone else is like, oh, yeah, good job with that kayak. You're a real pro. So, not totally my fault. All right, let's get to Wayne. Oh, good golly, buddy. Sorry about that. It's almost 20 past the hour. What's going on in the world today? The Counterpunch Studios, Mr. Wayne.
Well, I haven't had much time today to pay attention to the news.
Oh, all right. What have you been doing?
So let
Shuffleboard?
me see.
Bocce.
Yeah, playing with the system.
Okay, cool. What's going on in the world? Anything?
I guess Pelosi finally called out the rioters.
Ooh, that's mighty nice.
She finally condemned them.
Oh, all right. Well, it takes a pretty brave soul to throw a brick through a store window. It takes a pretty brave soul to shoot an unarmed person, or you know what I mean? It takes a pretty brave soul to kick someone when they're on the ground, so that's good.
And then I was driving through my neighborhood today.
Ooh.
And I saw a couple of people had some signs up saying, "My governor is an idiot."
Hey, that's my line. Wait, your governor, she doesn't have an, oh no, she does. Whitmer, she has an I. So she could say you can't spell Whitmer without the I in idiot.
Yeah.
And I trademark that. She says that, call me. We'll make millions.
Yeah, apparently those signs disappeared for a couple of days, but they were back.
Dana says always in the Matrix. Dana, the Matrix just seems to follow me. Yeah, you're right. I'm always in it, right? So no matter what happens, I tend to get spanked by it. All right, Wayne, speaking of those yard signs, what I found really interesting as well is the dueling banjo signs. And let me just say this. When everyone goes, oh, Bri, you're so pro-Trump, you're so anti-Biden, well, I just want to make it clear. For me, as I said to someone who picked a fight yesterday with me here on Facebook, I said, look, you can go about screaming the praises of your king all you want to. I've never been one that thought, oh, I need a politician to look up to. I need a professional athlete to look up to, right? I need a God. I need, other than God, I need some role model. I need this or that. So all these people, you can't say anything anymore with someone going, well, Joe did this, or Donald Trump did that, or Slow Joe, or Mr. Orange, or whatever. These people, and I think, can you get through a discussion? Like, do you take a shower in the morning? You're fresh out of bed, you brush your teeth, and you're going, that Donald Trump. Do you take a shower going, oh, geez, I really hope Joe Biden can stay awake through the first debate, right? Is that how you kick off your day? It's unbelievable. So in any event, the signs, the dueling banjos, the neighbors, some have Biden signs, some have Trump signs. And I've noticed over the space of the last couple of weeks, they tend to move closer to each other. Like, right? Like these signs are rock'em sock'em robots. And if the people put them up, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I'll show them. I'll move my sign closer. So when you said that, I thought of it. And it's like, I can't wait for the election to be over. Everyone's got their reason as to who they want to win or what they want to happen. I just think these are wild times to be alive, and I just love it. I love watching how Meshuggah. I love that it took Nancy Pelosi this long. I still can't get over the whole hair thing debacle with her, but it's just a fascinating time to be alive. But as far as the political debate, well, I think both sides. When we talk about wing sauce, whether it's the left wing or the right wing, underneath you still got a chicken. I think the overlords are doing what they can to keep us all in check. And it's nice that you get to say you're a jackass, or it's not a donkey. I'm sorry. It's nice. Oh, I'm a donkey. Oh, I'm an elephant. Oh, for this political party. Oh, well, we all could be libertarian. Yeah, like that makes a difference. I'm beginning to think that whether you call it deep state, whatever you want to call it, right? That the overlords are the ones running the show. It doesn't matter who's in office. Doesn't matter what political party is in power. It's the fact that the people in power are pulling the strings, and you just get a different version. It's like going for ice cream, right, Wayne?
Absolutely.
All you do is get a different flavor. Ben & Jerry's, 10,000 flavors. It's still ice cream. So for me, when I watch the overlords battle it out, it's like, I don't get worked up about it. And when people go, well, you're just a this or you're just a that. And it's fascinating to me, Wayne. These people that go, oh, well, you're a this or you're that. You don't even know me. How do you know? I've never told anyone. I put a post up the other day about watching the Medal of Honor, and someone goes, oh, yeah, well, just because you're a Trump fan. No, I've taken every day off. Since I was 21, I've taken every day off. I watched President Bush award a Medal of Honor. I watched each and every time President Obama awarded a Medal of Honor. So it had nothing to do, but people wanted to pile right on and say, oh, wow, you're just, well, it doesn't surprise me. You'd take some time off to watch Trump. Well, did you think the same thing of me when I took some time off to watch President Obama give the Medal of Honor? No, you do it out of respect for someone whose sense of self was so great that they put themselves ahead of other people, did what it took to save lives, mix it up, square their shoulders, stare down fate. That's why I take it off. That's why I watch it. Haven't missed a one. Yet these people, they want to jump in and go, oh, it's just because you're this or that. They don't know me. Who cares? As we talked about last night. Wayne, I should have asked. I know we had a little technical glitch last night, so we're going to leave the poll up one more time this evening. At the bottom of the hour, we'll open up the phone lines for calls. We're going to leave the poll up one more day. Have you ever been gaslighted? Right? Especially now when we're talking about all the mashugada, all the crazy stuff going on in the world. Have you ever been a victim of gaslighting? And we'll announce those poll results tomorrow. Oh, man, is it Friday already? We'll announce those poll results tomorrow night, but head on over to mortalup.com. You can see all of Wayne's great work. And I know we were in meetings this week. Pretty soon we'll be on Alexa and Siri and some of these other platforms. So all you got to do is say Brian Brawdy. All you got to do is say Mortal Up, and it'll be able to take you right to where we're going to be. So,
well, and they can actually take the poll right on the screen.
Oh, you can take the poll right on the screen as well. Wow. Oh, look at this. Wayne, good job. Oh, is that showing up in Facebook? This would be a really opportune time to thank everybody. It is. All right. Have you ever been a victim of gaslight? Look at this. So I'm going to hit yes. Wow, look at you, Wayne. Pretty crafty. So if you're still here with us on Facebook, you'll see it right at the bottom of the screen. Have you ever been a victim of gaslighting? You can vote yes or no, and Wayne will have the details for us tomorrow. Let me also, before we get to the bottom of the hour, let me thank everyone over on Spitter. It's always nice to mix it up and pick and be in a fight whenever it is that you feel a need to ground and pound on somebody. I'm your boy. I'm there. I'm ready. Also to our friends, we keep climbing every day. Our friends, our new friends that like the Brian Brawdy Mortal Up. And here's the thing, Wayne, as I say all the time, as you know, about liking the page. We're 20, 21,000, whatever the numbers are. It just makes it easier for us to be able to make sure you get the programming, because who knows what Facebook's trying to do to throttle everybody down. But what we've been told, what we've been able to learn is that if you like a particular page, you're more likely to get the live videos when they go. So there's a little bit of method to our madness. Dana Lee says, gaslighted, hell yeah. All right, I know a little bit about that as well. Dana Lee, by the political ruling class and anyone who purposely gives false or misleading information. Well, that is kind of the definition, isn't it, Dana, of gaslighting, where people will say or do a certain thing because they're trying to manipulate. And that's why I'm amazed that when people get so worked up, but so worked up about their candidate, so worked up about their party, it's still the ruling class. It's still the people playing you like a puppet, sock puppet, as it were. It's still those powers. It's still the technorati, the whatever you want to call it. So people get all worked up, and they're just flavors, right? It's just controlling sherbet. You get to, they think, oh, well, we'll make them think that they've got a say in the matter. We'll give them candidate A and candidate B, or candidate red and candidate blue. And that'll be enough to appease these people because they're gullible. They're simple. Don't worry about them. Just give them a false sense of choice. And that's going to make them think like, holy schmoly. Yeah, we're in a democracy. What we vote for, what we say goes. Yeah, no, don't you even think about it for a second. We're in control. We're in control of this ship. I'm beginning to think you and I aren't really in control, right? I'm beginning to think that the ruling class, your overlords, our overlords, I'm not trying to separate myself, our overlords are such that they just love the kabuki theater, give us all these different things to focus on, but the bottom line is we're still being ruled. As I said last night, and then I think we are going to run to the bottom of the hour. As I said last night, the pen is mightier than the sword. Only if you're the one with a box of pens. All right, Wayne, let's get to the bottom of the hour so that we can go ahead right on the other side of this break and open it up to your calls. Wayne, hit it. right. Welcome back. Bottom of the hour. We're thrilled to have you with us. Also, don't forget, Wayne's worked it out. Where's the poll right here in the feed? Have you ever been a victim of gaslighting? Yes or no? We want to hear about it. Also, don't forget, you can reach me at Spitter over at Brian Brawdy. And of course, Facebook, you know it. It's at Brian Brawdy Official. That's where you are right now. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for all of our new friends, all of our new likes, all of our new follows, all of our new shares. We're up a couple thousand just since yesterday. So thank you very much for all that. We truly appreciate it. Don't forget, if you head on over to mortalup.com, you're going, yeah, why wouldn't I? I get to vote in the poll. If you head on over to mortalup.com, you can also email us directly. And we would love your opinion. We've got a lot of cool guests scheduled. To be honest with you, what we were thinking about is we're going to work out some of the kinks. We're going to work out the video. We're going to work out the audio. And once we get that all up and running, once we get that together, then we'll be having guests on, and there'll be different people with segments that will be on the show each evening, so we can go from there. All right, Wayne, what do you think? Should we open the phone lines? Don't forget, you can also text us. So when you hear the announcer say, hey, the phone lines are now open, it's also open for text. They come right in here to studio. We also try to respond to the feed here at Facebook. I don't think we respond to the feed at YouTube just yet, but thank you so much for the good people at YouTube for following and helping us with the numbers. Those numbers have been going through the roof as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Wayne?
The phone lines are open. Now's your chance to mortal up and give Brian a shout, because your opinion deserves to be heard. Dial toll-free 1-833-MORTAL-1. That's 833-MORTAL-1.
You gotta love it. And I love our set of phones there, Wayne. That covers about the only thing we could do is, remember when you used to put in the wire and go, hi, could you please connect me? You had that little, that'd be cool to find one of those ones you used to put in your mouth and your ear, or however that would work. I guess you'd hold it up to your ear and then you'd talk into it like that. We could get one of those phones as well. All right, 833-MORTAL and the numeral 1. Wayne's got it on the screen. If you're into the hieroglyphics, as I am, 833-667-8251. That's 833-667-8251. You can text us there as well. Let us know what you think of anything that we were talking about this evening, or what do you do to go ahead and handle some of these wild times? And as I say to Wayne all the time, the greatest time in the history of the world to be alive. Also, I want you to know that we worked pretty long and hard today on a couple different aspects. We hope to be able to show you tomorrow evening for our Friday night show. We're still working on Friday night fights with our good friend Matt Connerton, and we're hoping to have those a week from this coming Friday. So Friday night fights will be a week from tomorrow. But one of the things we've been working on is our mobile marketing campaign to get, to be honest with you, I'm just looking for an excuse to get out and go for a bike ride or a run every day. So you've probably seen the picture of me with the protest signs. Maybe you've seen Wayne driving around town with his Mortal Up bumper stickers. But we have, and you've seen the mobile marketing for our international or our global marketing plan, where we put a big sign on the roof and then we go ahead and drive around the international terminal over to the airport. So that's that's always fun. I'm wondering, Wayne, if you think the cops will ever catch up to us and go, hey, wait a minute. All you're doing is circling around. You're not here to pick anybody up. How did you get in there with that sign? So I don't know. That would be an interesting ticket, though, wouldn't it, Wayne? I could bring that and have you load it. We can show it here in the feed if I get a ticket for doing our international marketing campaign. But in any event, I worked on it all day long today. Wait till you see this. For my friends that are reminiscent of the green RV, back in the days, I used to do a lot of the national television back in the days from the New York Times article and the like, all the RVing, all the exploring. I kind of hearkened back to that time a little bit today, Wayne, as I started to build and construct our next version of mobile marketing. And for those that remember when I hiked across Death Valley and I had that little setup with me with the solar panels and everything else and the ability to purify my own water, although I never really found water. I bumped into a coyote. He looked just as thirsty as I was. But yeah, I kind of harken back to those days, Wayne. So I worked on that today. We'll finish it up tomorrow. We'll hope to have pictures. And let's do this, Wayne. If I do get it done and we have the opportunity, let's share the pictures first. Excuse me. We'll share the pictures here in the show to give everybody an idea. There's flags involved. And I'll be very lucky, Wayne, if the police just don't stop me and go, Are you insane? Well,
Well,
yes. Yes, I am.
you start to worry me sometimes.
Yeah, well,
You know,
what are you going to
you're
do?
driving through airports
Yeah,
with
driving through
signs on the
airports.
roof.
Yep, the sign.
You're standing in the middle of the street
Stand in the middle of the street. Yep.
with signs.
I couldn't get two sheriff's deputies to come up behind me again like that if I tried. No
now-
other time of day. We hadn't been there a minute.
And now
Ashley's
you're
like,
going to be
well,
towing.
we can't stop in the middle of the street.
And now you're going to
here
be
come the
towing trailers down the street.
Well, the towing trailers down the street, I'll give you a little bit of a hint. It's hooked up to the back of my cyclocross bike, right? So I still get my workout in every day, but I got a trailer. There might be a sign or two. There might be a flag or two. There might be, right? It's a mobile marketing. Well, I was going to say it's a mobile marketing base camp.
Yeah,
but I'm also beginning to believe it's just a cry for help, right?
But didn't you realize that you're going to be violating the law?
Well, that's an excellent point.
It's
But I
against the
called
law.
all the local town offices, right, and said, "Am I allowed to carry a picket sign? Am I allowed to do this and do that?" And they go, "Look, as long as you don't impede traffic, you're allowed to protest anywhere you want." You're damn right. I'm protesting. More people need to mortal up.
Yeah,
So there's nothing they can do to me.
but this time you're going to be riding your bike. And did you know it's against the law to pedal your butt off?
Yes. I didn't know that. Okay, well, see, I told you, Wayne, there's news you could use. So, I didn't know of anything that said you couldn't be a cyclist and
That's
still
not-
protest.
It's not
But I'm
being a
protesting.
cyclist. It's you're pedaling your butt.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've got enough of it to lose. Don't worry about me. People say all the time, "Oh, how do you keep going?" I'm fat, right? How do you keep going? I got plenty of energy. I don't have to worry about that at all. All right. Welcome to everyone here in the feed on Facebook. Wayne, let me see. Brian says no on the gaslighting attempts, but never a victim. Good for you. Dana says yes. Dana, I'm sorry, but Dana and I are in the same boat. It's just that all of it, and we talked about this the other day. To me, it's a little bit of gaslighting. When you go out to a store and they say, our number one priority is your safety. No, it's not. Don't lie to me. Your number one priority is my money. Safety? Your number one priority is closing the sale. You don't care if I have the sniffles. You don't care if I have the Wuhan wheeze. If the government wasn't making you feel bad about it, you wouldn't be there. Oh, our number one concern is your safety. Please, how gullible do we seem? Talk about gaslighting. All right, Wayne, what else do we have going on in the world today? I know you were going to take a little bit of time and check up on for us. We could do a Low Life's Making Headlines segment here in the closing little bit because there's just so much of it going on. Pick your favorite. What is something today that's made your blood boil? That many, huh? All right, well, thank you so very much. I super appreciate it. Yes, I am enjoying it. I am enjoying it for sure.
Every time
sorry,
you look in the news, Pelosi's name comes up.
Well, she's going to be the next president, when this whole thing goes south and there's not enough votes and John Roberts has to weigh in. Isn't there some way oh, help us. Isn't there some way she gets to be the number one of the ruling class here for a short period of time, according to the chain of command in the Constitution? Can you imagine? Oh, can you imagine? President Pelosi.
Well,
Heaven
that
help
one's
us all.
up for debate.
I also saw some encouraging news today that the sheriff from Los Angeles County in Compton says they're working some good leads on the shooters of those two deputies. So that was kind of good news. But literally, I haven't been in or around anything today in terms of breaking news, so I didn't know if there was any. I like getting up in the morning, to be honest with you. I go through my normal routine and this and that and everything else. And then I like being up in the morning and going, all right, let me get over and see if anything is actually happening. Like, what happened overnight? Is it, right? Is the world still here? Has the sky fallen? Let me see. The Drudge Report. Trump, we may never know election results. Ooh, look at that. USC poll. Nearly all minds made up. Well, that's the thing, Wayne. We talk about it. There's a report out. USC says nearly all minds are made up. That's why there's no political debate anymore. We're not going to change anyone's life. We're not going to change anyone's opinion. We're not going to change, right? There's no more middle ground.
No, and the polls are so crazy. You know, I see today basically everything that happened last go around.
All right.
And everybody talks about how Michigan is a swing state. Yet you drive the streets of Michigan across the state, the only thing you see is Trump signs. You don't see any Biden signs.
Well, I got to tell you, there's some places that I drive around where all you see for your overlord, your next overlord, is the opportunity to say, oh, it's Harris-Biden administration, right? Isn't that what it's called now, Harris-Biden?
Yeah, they flipped it.
They don't even want to go in alphabetical order anymore, keeping it Biden-Harris. It's just a little bit of truth in advertising. Like that sign the other day at the store. It'd just be nice if you just say, look, it's the Harris-Biden administration. Just wake up. Deal with it. This is who's running. I see that it says ISIS, the rise of ISIS in 2020. New leadership chain revealed. That's one of the things I got to tell you, Wayne, that, you know, with all the different things going on in the world, there are some there are some concerns that we have. I don't happen to be particularly concerned about coronavirus. I did find it interesting because back, how many months has February or March been now where I made the mistake of saying on Facebook, look, sooner or later we're going to find out this thing was manufactured in a Chinese lab. And people go, oh no, it happened in a wet market. I go, I've been to Wuhan. It didn't happen in the wet market. Think about it. And now you see, can I just tell you, Wayne, I'll give you my opinion. And I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but you know me, I couldn't care less if I do. All I'm simply suggesting is that this whole thing didn't start from a guy doing an Ozzy Osbourne biting a head off a bat. That's all I'm saying.
Nope.
I don't believe it happened that way. And so, you know, the name calling began. Well, do you have any definitive proof? And look, for a virus to take off the way it does, or the way it has, and totally disrupt human beings' ultimate wherewithal, the ability to think and thrive and even survive, I still believe this was created in a lab. And I saw yesterday a scientist, an attractive young lady, scientist, said that, oh, wow, I was there, and I have proof that I'm going to be letting out pretty soon that this thing was constructed in a lab, which incidentally was like the backyard of this wet market. And again, goes back to just how gullible do you think we really are? Oh, wow. Okay. So when it comes time and this thing leaks, let's tell them it came from a wet market. Let's tell them it came from eating a bat.
Well, and it's interesting because, you know, they put a video out. I guess it was yesterday or the day before. Tucker Carlson interviewed her, the scientist.
Oh, how'd it go? I never watched Tucker anymore.
The interview went pretty well, but Facebook censored the video.
Get out of here. Mug pamphlet? What's going on with Marky Mark?
They censored the video and pulled it down.
No way. Has anyone else heard about really?
Well,
anyone else heard about that?
Dane,
are you here? Brian, are you here? Anyone else heard about Mug Pamphlet? Which is our way of continuing to be able to talk to them about them because the AI sensors or their human sensors or whatever, they haven't picked up on Mug Pamphlet being our shorthand for Facebook. Anyone else heard of that? I didn't know that. So, in other words, they don't want everyone to know that the Chinese government is responsible for this.
Well, it's that, and they also pulled up some of the fact-checking reports. For one of them was a March USA Today article.
All right.
Report that they're using as a basis for fact-checking today.
Oh, all right. Brian says hasn't heard about it. Heather says no, hasn't heard about it. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on it here. I would love to talk about that because here's this everyone's screaming, oh, it's all about the science. Gotta love science. Gotta have more science in my life. Like people screaming, I gotta have more fiber in my diet. I'm feeling a little bloated. I need more fiber. Everyone's screaming science. Well, here's a scientist, right? I have to tell you, I have a family member who's a bigwig, a big-time doctor. And he asked me we were hanging out together on a recent vacation. And I won't mention any names, right? But he said to me, look, you're worrying about the health of your kids. What's the long-term health? What's the PTSD of sending them to school 8 hours a day in a mask? Right? So everyone wants to scream science. Everyone wants to go, wow, we believe in science. Great. What's the 10-year study? What's a decades-long study that shows the adverse effects on wearing a mask 8 to 10 hours a day, especially younger people whose lungs are forming? What's the 10-year study? Oh, we don't have a 10-year study. Oh, you don't? Why is that? Well, this whole thing's only 10 weeks old. Oh, so you don't have a study. And with all the times you see in the news everywhere, Wayne, where this drug maker's being sued for this drug maker's being sued for that, all the other wrongful death claims, this and that. So we're just supposed to take science's word for it that there's not going to be a long-term detrimental effect to young lungs having to breathe through masks 8 to 10 hours a day. And I got to tell you this. I know we didn't want to go down this path. Well, maybe we didn't want to go down this path. But let me just say this. You know, like, I see some of the rules that are put up, like kids can't play on playgrounds. I saw someone the other day in the middle of a football field. Had to be 20-mile-an-hour winds. Nobody else around this person. I think they were doing sprints or something. And this person was wearing a mask. And you put on top of that, earlier in the day, no one will open the car door at this particular institution to help, right? Whoever needs to get out of the car. Oh, so now coronavirus can cling to car handles at speeds of over 70 miles an hour. It can withstand 20, 25-mile-an-hour winds, and it also lives in the middle of football fields. No, there's no chance this fight. No way. So it has the staying power of a Twinkie on a store shelf, on a gas station. It's got the staying power better than some of that gas station sushi you see at Stop and Rob's, right? But oh no, this is all legit. Don't worry about that. And I think, all right, look, what are the real numbers? If you want to talk about science, what's the real truth behind a decade from now? What if my family member is correct? What if their main concern is the PTSD? What it's going to do to people 10 years from now? To believe that if you go outside and you stand in the middle of a football field, 90-degree weather, 25-mile-an-hour winds, you got dropped off by a car, you touch the door handle, now you're going to die. What's the PTSD of that? All the brainiacs running around going, no, we're absolutely certain. You're not absolutely certain of anything. Only thing the rest of us is certain is that you can't be certain about anything, which is shown. All you got to do is listen to the directives. Well, I said months ago, Wayne, the only direction I take from who is the rock band, right? World Health Organization. No, thanks. I'll take a pass. Have a nice life. See you at the movies. What say you, Wayne?
I'm right in your corner with that one.
Someone said to me the other day, he goes, your back's in the corner on this one. Isn't it? And I go, look, my back was built for the corner.
Yeah, but the problem is the corners have spikes and push you back out.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Let me see. Here's another one I have for you, Wayne. Newly revealed USPS documents show an agency struggling. Wow, I wouldn't have seen that. MAGA anti-maskers parade through Target, shouting, we're not going to take it anymore. Here's another one on Drudge. Let me see. Arizona is the tipping point state. Oh, here's another one. Video, man topples a Virgin Mary statue outside of New York City church in broad daylight. Well, clearly he's afraid of repercussions for picking on a defenseless statue. By all means, this guy's a tough guy. Wow. God, love him. World, it's a crazy time to be alive, as we said to start the show. Absolutely crazy time in the history of the world to be alive. Don't forget, you can give us a text, 833-667-8251. Or if there's something you've heard or something you'd like to hear, something you want to say, give us a call, 833-667-8251. Again, 833-MORTAL, and then the numeral 1. Wayne, we're going to get out of here in just a few minutes. I want to get to Mortal Up because I'm excited about it today. What else is anything else you need to tick around? Anything else we got going on before we get ready to head to Mortal Up?
Nope. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. It's time for my favorite 10 minutes of the day.
You're supposed to say something.
Oh, well, it's so much of the really? I thought we had a little. Well, thank you, Wayne. All right. I'm supposed to say something. All right. Here's the deal. Crazy time in the history of the world to be alive. But what are you gonna do about it? What are we gonna do about it? You and I gonna do about it? We're gonna remember that courage is at our core. There's dirt in our DNA. We're not gonna stand and be talked down to. We're not gonna stand and be browbeaten. We're not gonna stand to be pushed into the corner and just to be told to shut up and take it. Right? Everyone wants to talk about science. Everyone wants to talk about this or that. But what you and I want to talk about is we're not going to be bullied anymore. We're not going to be bullied by the overlords. We're not going to be bullied by their minions. Oh, I'm voting for this one. Oh, I'm voting for Joe Biden. Oh, good for you. Good for you. Do you have the ability to wake him up? I got up this morning at 6 o'clock. I go, I wonder if Joe Biden's awake. Oh, do they have to send someone down to the basement to wake him up, do you think? I don't know. So what can you and I do when it comes to Mortal Up? We can make certain that we just say no to being maligned. We remember our natural resources, our authentic vigor, our true grit. Just not to steal from the movie, but we remember our capability to do whatever it is that fate throws at us. And I'll tell you, it goes back to whether it's making the shots of the rolled up napkins at McDonald's or the gas station, wherever I happen to be. Just never leave on a miss. You and I can Mortal Up by deciding that every time we give it our best shot, we're going to leave with our best shot. We're going to leave with that success. We're not going to talk about all the other people that are saying, well, you'll never pull this off. You'll never pull that off. Oh, it's just going to be horrible. If this one wins, there's going to be riots. If that one wins, there's going to be riots. Well, the overlords want everyone fearing the riots. Right? It's bait and switch. It's kabuki theater. Oh, look over here. Talk about gaslighting. Again, the poll here on Facebook. Oh, and thank you to everyone listening on IPMNation.com/Brian. Thank you very much for listening there as well. And also, if you're listening over on the Mortal Up page, thank you so very much for that. You know, Wayne and I have been kicking around the idea for quite some time now about do we have an app or do we not have an app? But Wayne has got the site structured, if you will, to such a way that you literally just go to mortalup.com and the show's playing live right there. So everyone that's tuning in over there, hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us. And also the people on YouTube, thank you so very much for joining us. So when it comes to the concept of Mortal Up, here's the thought that I would like to leave you with before we get ready to close the show. When times get you down, it's the perfect time to Mortal Up. When the situation seems to be spiraling out of control, what's the old poem? The angels ride the whirlwind and direct the storm. Don't let people accuse you of being, or, you know, we got into this discussion the other day when people, the closest people to me in my circle, we'll call each other Muffin or Sparkles or Cream Puff, right? We have these names, Petunia, right? And for us, a group of guys and girls that are in this particular group, we use it as a way of reminding the people closest to us, it's time to square your shoulders. It's time to stop being pushed around, and it's time to show what you're truly made of. And I think when you have times like this, as wild as they are, what if the sole purpose of this time is for you to be able to strut your stuff? Not what everyone thinks about you. Not all of the bad press. Not all the fake news. Not all the mashugana. Right? Not that you're going to hear at the Circus News Network or MSNBC. Yeah. Not that. Washington Compost. New York crimes? Not those reports. What your mirror reports. What you know in your gut to be the truth about who you are and what you're ultimately capable of. Because that's how we're going to beat the overlords. Look, the book's probably 100 years old, the Machiavellians, right? And the author of the book says, look, there's only one way to curb power, and that's with power. So to steal from the popular book, Personal Power, what's your power all about? What are you all about? How can you hone your natural resources and make them front and center, regardless of how wild the times are? Regardless of the predators, Wayne, if you could throw the alligator back up for us, please. Regardless of the predators, regardless of the things that are waiting, that are stalking you, like this alligator. Oh yeah, come on into the water. It's very refreshing. Yes, don't worry about it. I'm just hanging out here sightseeing. I'm just taking a pole. Not to worry. You should dip in. Maybe come up to the knees. You got nothing to worry about. Those predators are everywhere today. But what if a wild time is to say, hey, I'm built for this. I can absolutely do this. What if you know deep down inside that all the craziness has nothing to do with you? Don't let them pigeonhole you. Don't let them browbeat you. Don't let them look down their nose at you. You're capable, because as wild as the times are, you're wilder. Your natural resources allow you to accomplish anything you set your mind to. And that is the thought I would like you to leave with you this evening. There's dirt in your DNA, right? We come from the earth. Whether we walked out of the gardens of Eden, as I said at the beginning of the week, or off the savannas of Africa, there's dirt in our DNA. There's spit in you. There's the ability in you to rise to any occasion, and now just might very well be that time. Why not test it out? Why not give yourself a shot? Why not see if you're the vaccine to everything that ails you? What if you're the vaccine to whatever virus is bugging you? Just something to think about. All right, before we get out of here, don't forget, head on over to mortalup.com. You can leave us email. You might want to, maybe you like a Mortal Up t-shirt. We got a great new Mortal Up logo. We'll be able to do that. Let me say thank you again to everyone that's been joining us. Candace, thank you. Counterpunch for everything the good people at Counterpunch Media do all the time. Brian, thank you. Did I see, Candace asks, did I see something that Fauci wrote a book? Well, of course he did. Why wouldn't he? So is he, what kind of book is, do we know what kind of book it is, Candace? Now. Someone just texted me and said, oh, Fauci wrote a fairy tale book. Oh, well, very good. It's a children's book. I don't know. It's just true. I'm just reading the text as I get them. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you for everyone in the feed here. Thank you over at, what do we call it? YouTube. YouTube is what they call it. Until tomorrow evening, we're getting ready for another great show. We'll have pictures, I promise, of our new mobile media setup, or our latest addition to the mobile media setup. Let's hope the flags get here. They're supposed to come FedEx. What could go wrong with that plan? But we'll have the flags. We'll have all kinds of cool things going. We'll keep the gaslighting, Wayne, if you don't mind. Let's keep the gaslighting poll up one more night because of some of the technical difficulties. Thank you all for the critique. Thank you for all the suggestions. And we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Have an absolutely great evening and a Friday before we get to hang together again tomorrow night. Take care.
Thanks for listening to The Brian Brawdy Show. Until next time, get out there and mortal up.